Hello, my name is James Daisy from WhatHouse, and I'm here today talking to Andrew Overman from Chilterns estate agents. And we're here today to talk about what just happened and what is becoming of the property market, given all the political situation we've got at the moment. Andrew, would you mind? I know you're pretty big in the would you mind telling us a little bit about who Chilterns are and who you are?
Sure. My name's Andrew Overman. I manage Chilterns estate agents. We're a small independent estate agents based in Norfolk and Suffolk. We operate 2 fine and country brands from 2 of the 3 locations, and we are the Sunday Times Best Small Agency East of England Silver Award winners 2 years running, and I am the current Sunday Times Best UK Estate Agency Manager Gold Award winner from last year.
I'm not sure I should be speaking to you, but you're a bit high caliber. But it's an important point to clarify now, because you're obviously looking at the Norfolk and Suffolk area, so it's a very distinct geographical sort of outlook we've got on this. Because one of the first questions I think we want to really probe into is the budget that you came out. The budget is now a month ago. Did you have any thoughts as to how that relates to your area and sort of any implications it would have?
Yeah, sure. The budget here was actually seen as a huge benefit, and was very, very well received. Of course, anybody selling under £937,500 benefited from the stamp duty reforms, and that is 99.9% of my geographical market. And if you look at the 3 offices that we cover, it's representative of about 97% of our market. Of course, we do regularly engage via social media and our own network of estate agents within the guild with member agents that are London based, and of course there is a tale of 2 cities. There is a huge disparity on the opinion of the budget, one of them being the cash ISA savings, which for many may work here in rural Norfolk, where property prices started or start from a lower starting point, if you'll get my meaning, and obviously the month-on-month appreciation in property value is not accelerating at a rate where the ISAs won't be of any benefit. But of course, if you look at the rapidly accelerating London marketplace, the rate with which a first-time buyer can save into one of those ISAs, they're actually the void and the gap is becoming greater and greater every month, so they're possibly not of as much benefit. So I'm not entirely sure that the budget did everything it could to tackle the north-south divide, but certainly we're very happy here in rural Norfolk.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I think you've hit on a very important point. Now not almost the north-south divide, it's almost the London country divide.
Absolutely.
Something really picked up. And just for clarification, your help to buy item, which is much lauded, that you put £200, we can put up to £200 a month in, and the government will top it up by 25%.
Of course.
Your first home, and only £250,000 out of London, 450 in London.
In London.
Therefore, very much targeting an unbelievably niche target market. So, again, it doesn't really appeal to everybody, right?
It doesn't, and the difficulty that you've got, as with the Help to Buy scheme, it's almost increasing values, isn't it? You know, you're finding these thresholds that are becoming increased and inflated because of the schemes and the budgetary figures that are put in place by the schemes, 250 here and 450 in central London. Of course, when Help to Buy, the original Help to Buy scheme came with its original budgetary constraints, we were noticing a huge acceleration in prices up to those thresholds then, way back 18 months, 2 years ago. And I sense we'll see similar again.
It'll be an interesting time to see whether that gets put through. And really, that automatically leads us into probably the biggest political hot potato that we've got at the moment, which is that of the election.
You mean the propaganda campaign?
you could say that. Propaganda campaign. So look, let's sort of cut through everything here. And have you got an opinion as to where we are with this? And what does it mean for these political parties, and what are they talking about, which has an impact on you where you are in your aspect of the market? What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, we're residential letting agents. Niles and Isle are registered as well. Much of the talk in the lead up to this election is with the Labour Party and their proposals to scrap agents' charges to tenants. And I would just like to point out here that, of course, a deposit which protects the interest of a landlord who is the property investor is not a charge, it's a deposit. A month's rent in advance, of course, is not a charge. It's a month's rent in advance. The charges that the Labour Party appear to be referring to are nominal administration charges to ensure that we are putting the right kind of tenants into our clients' homes. And we are being met by increasing web portal costs, marketing costs, and referencing costs. And obviously these need to be borne by the tenants that are using them. The 3-year tenancy, I think we're all very happy with in terms of estate agents, letting agents and landlords, but in my experience it's the tenants themselves that don't want to commit and tie themselves into a 3-year tenancy with no kind of get out clause. So there's a lot of propaganda, there's a lot of speculation from individual parties. You know, if you listen to UKIP, they'd have you believe that there's not enough housing because of mass immigration levels. If you listen to Labour, we're charlatans in the industry because we're overcharging tenants and, you know, pushing up rents. And I think the only common thread, if you listen to all major parties, is that we need to build more. But of course, when you water that down to local level with local councils that are not following guidelines or ridiculous social housing allocations, making development almost impossible for a small-scale developer, it's simply not possible to build the volume that we need to build to solve the crisis. So I think, yes, it's great listening to them all shoot off for the next 28 days about how wonderful they'll make the property market, but actually seeing it, I think, is very unlikely.
You bring some very valid points about the letting market, especially this thing, because our experience with the letting market, it's a transient market.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest advantages of lettings, it's transient. People move and they don't want to be tied down, which is interestingly very dissimilar to the European markets, where they want longer tenancy. So
absolutely.
It shows a bit of a naivety of a lack of understanding of the letting market. Is that hard to say?
No, I don't think it is harsh. I think it's as with most things that are brought towards us. You know, the abolition of HIPs, the introduction of HIPs, the abolition of HIPs. You know, I think it's done without enough industry consultation and understanding. We have a huge Eastern European market here in Thetford, which is the small market town that I represent, and most of those tenants would be very happy with a 2 or 3 year tenancy. You look at the central London market, where you've got a huge transient market, lots of mass market migration. You know, those tenants are not going to want to sign a 3 year tenancy. So again, what works in one area is not going to work in another. And I think that the campaign is one of propaganda at the moment. So of course, it's easy to slap the poor old estate agent that's just trying to earn a living, or the letting agent that's having to charge what they charge in order to be affiliated with the schemes that we are and act in the professional manner in which we do. But of course, I bring to you another question, James. If landlords' fees, letting agents' fees to tenants are scrapped, who do you think will bear the cost? It's certainly not going to be the letting agent. It's not going to be the landlord. And inevitably, what will happen is rents, I believe, will rise. It does beg another question as well. If you're affecting the net income and the, if you like, the investment of the landlord to such a detrimental degree, how likely will that landlord be to maintain their house and required as a bill of parliament? I think it's very unlikely. So again, a complete misunderstanding of the market. I find that these policies come from Whitehall, and in essence they're great policies, and they will serve a purpose, but by the time they reach a localized level or a market where they don't quite work or fit or sit, they become watered down, and it's almost as if more legislation is brought out to cover the inadequacies of the original legislation,
and
thereon and thereon.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, centralised government looking at marginalised industries and geographically sparse areas. It's a tricky job, and I have to say it's one that I wouldn't take on. Maybe that's your next role.
I'm very happy as an estate agent.
Yes, I can imagine. But look, I just want to thank you, Andrew. This is part of the one-to-one interview series that we have here at WhatHouse, and I just want to thank Andrew for joining us. Obviously, a very well-respected estate agent in this area and nationally. Certainly, look at Andrew on the social media area. He's very, very popular on that. So, well worth looking at that. So that's Andrew here from Chilterns, and that was just one-to-one interview on behalf of WhatHouse. So thanks, everybody, and thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.